our paradise, which has so much to offer to the World's Fair. Without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to set the ground for the commencement of the session. We are so pleased and privileged that the session will be chaired by the Honorable Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation of the Government of Nepal. Please join me now, ladies and gentlemen, in inviting our Honorable Minister up to the dais as he graces the session as the session chair. May I take a moment to invite our Honorable Minister, Mananiya Mantrijuलाई, म मञ्चमा आमन्त्रण गर्न चाहन्छु. माननीय मन्त्रीज्यू, संस्कृति, पर्यटन एवं नागरिक उड्डयन मन्त्री श्री हित बहादुर तामाङज्यूलाई म मञ्चमा आमन्त्रण गर्न चाहन्छु. Ladies and gentlemen, Honorable Hit Bahadur Tamang is a Nepali politician and currently serving as the Minister for Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation. He has held various political positions, including Minister for Youth and Sports. Please join me in extending a warm welcome to our session chair, the Honorable Hit Bahadur Tamang, whose presence adds a lot of value because it is under his jurisdiction that all the deliberations shall take ahead, and he would be noting the observations and the expert statements and analysis that are shared at this forum, just to find a way forward for collaborations that could be forged in the days ahead. And with much pleasure, I invite up on the dais the presenter of the session, the Director General at the Confederation of Nepalese Industries, Mr. Deepak Raj Joshi. Mr. Joshi, if I may invite you up on stage, please. Our deepest apologies, if you could bear with the space constant herein, to all the speakers and the members in the audience. Ladies and gentlemen, please join your hands for Mr. Joshi, who is a tourism expert currently serving as Director General at the Confederation of Nepalese Industries. He is a founding executive member of the World Tourism Network and has served as CEO at the Nepal Tourism Board. And he holds 20 years of experience in tourism promotion and management and has worked with top international partners. He holds an MBA and a master's in sociology. He'll be joining us shortly for the presentation. For now, my pleasure of inviting up on stage Ms. Shraddha Shrestha, the manager at Nepal Tourism Board, and who will be moderating today's session for us. Ms. Shrestha is a seasoned tourism professional, ladies and gentlemen, a blogger, traveler, and she wears many more hats and holds over 20 years of experience in promoting Nepal's tourism. She leads the digital marketing department at the Tourism Board and serves as the National Program Coordinator for the Sustainable Tourism Livelihood Recovery Project at UNDP. Ms. Shrestha actively engages in youth and women entrepreneurship projects, crisis response, and is a Fulbright Humphrey Fellow in Economic Development. Likewise, my pleasure, ladies and gentlemen, of inviting up on stage our distinguished members in the panel. First and foremost, Sir Graham Wrigley, former Chief Executive Officer, British International Investment. May I have this privilege of inviting Sir Wrigley up on stage. Sir Graham is the chairman of British International Investment, knighted in 2020. He focuses on sustainable development, microfinance, and tourism in Nepal's mountain communities. Sir Graham, Premier founder, transitioned to international development after completing an MSc in development economics. We're indeed very honored to have Sir Graham Wrigley amongst us today. Next, our esteemed panelist, Ms. Sumlima Udas. May we have you on stage, please, who's the founder and executive director of Lumbini Museum. Ms. Udas is a former international journalist and TV personality, founded the Lumbini Museum Initiative to create a world-class museum at Lumbini, the birthplace of Gautam Buddha. With a master's from Oxford in History of Art and Anthropology, Ms. Udas led CNN International's news and features coverage from New Delhi, Hong Kong, and New York, and she now focuses on transforming Lumbini and uplifting local communities. It's a value added to this panel, ladies and gentlemen. Equally pleased and privileged we are to have with us in the member of the panel, Mr. Michael Croft, representative to Nepal from UNESCO. It's with much pleasure we invite Mr. Croft up on stage. Mr. Croft is the UNESCO representative to Nepal and a political science graduate with honors. He began his career with UNESCO in the year 1998 and working in various roles before becoming the coordinator for crisis preparedness and response in the year 2016. He then served as the UNESCO representative in Vietnam from 2017 to 2021, where he negotiated the first United Nations partnership with a Vietnamese corporation. Our next member in the esteemed panel is Mr. Vijay Shrestha, Vice President, Administration at the Himalaya Airlines. I have the pleasure of inviting Mr. Shrestha up on stage, who is a top aviation, hospitality, and education professional with 25 plus years of experience in international and domestic airlines in Nepal. He has successfully launched and managed airlines, including 2 joint ventures, and holds an MBA and a certified diploma in finance and accounting, and he is currently the Vice President of Administration at Himalayan Airlines. Last but not the least, our distinguished panelist is Ms. Srijana Rana, President, Nepal India Chamber of Commerce and Industries. My pleasure of inviting Madam Rana upon stage. Ms. Rana is a dynamic leader, as we all know, in Nepal's tourism and hospitality sector. With over 30 years of experience, she's the Executive Director of the Annapurna Group of Hotels, President of the Nepal India Chamber of Commerce and Industry, and supports the government of Nepal in uplifting the industry. And she's also committed to women development and empowerment. May I invite upon stage Mr. Rahul Chaudhary, our next member in the panel. He is the Managing Director of CG Corp Global. Indeed, he brings in a plethora of experience and expertise in hospitality, as well as sectors that have quite direct impact in the sector itself. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Chaudhary is the global face of Nepal's first and only multi-billion-dollar multinational conglomerate with an exceptional legacy of 140 years across 4 generations. For your information, CG Corp Global has 150 brands, 160 plus companies, over 20,000 employees spread across 32 countries, with industry-leading foray into fast-moving consumer goods, banking, power, hospitality, real estate, telecom, cement, and a range of other sectors. Thank you to our distinguished panelists for sharing with us your very, very valuable time. Now, ladies and gentlemen, despite abundant potential, challenges persist in terms of infrastructure, marketing, and investment in the tourism sector, in the tourism paradise of Nepal, the globe. However, recent legislative reforms and strategic initiatives have positioned our country as an attractive destination for tourism investment, attracting attention not only from the international front, but also from many, many aspiring domestic investors. So the panel, the expert-led panel, shall give their perspectives on the state of affairs and the prospects ahead for investment in the country. There is so much to talk in this topic because there is so much that it carries forth, so many prospects, so many challenges, and so many such beauty does this particular theme carries. However, to give a direction to this, the deliberations in this channel, we have entrusted the responsibility to Mr. Deepak Raj Joshi, the Director General of CNI, for a quick presentation to give you a quick overview of the entire state of affairs. My pleasure of inviting him up on stage before we start the deliberations, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you, Shivani ji. Honorable Minister, former ministers, respected secretaries, high-ranking government officials, Your Excellencies, especially invited dignitaries, potential investors. In today's presentation, I will be highlighting the destination strength of Nepal and some of the changing trends that the global tourism is going through, and what are the potential areas that Nepal offers as a captivating investment destination, and few hotel chains which are one of the successful example of recent investments in Nepal, and the future scope of Nepal's tourism to invest in. First, I would like to highlight about the destination strength of Nepal. We all know that the Nepal boasts a very compelling array of destination strength, fortified by over 7 decades of experience in handling the tourism service. Nepal's private sector and the government sector is very much experienced in tourism handling since last 7 decades. From a rich tapestry of cultural heritage sites, steeped in history, complemented by awe-inspiring natural landscapes, encompassing the majestic mountains, rivers, and lush forests teeming with diverse flora and fauna. Nearly 45% of Nepal's landmass is covered by forests, with 12 national parks, 6 conservation areas, 16,000 plus community forests. This is the strength that Nepal offers to the global tourism community. Adventure enthusiasts are drawn to Nepal's unparalleled trekking, mountaineering, rafting type of activities, while its vibrant festivals and cultural traditions offer unique and immersive experience round the year in every corner of Nepal. Positioned as the gateway to the Himalaya and gateway to the Buddhist circuit, which builds a strong brand in the international market with a pivotal perception as tourism capital of South Asia. Most of the visitors, they know Nepal as the tourism capital of South Asia. Attracting travelers seeking spiritual enlightenment and natural splendor is another area emerging rapidly and robustly since last few years. Renowned as the most diverse country on earth, where our lowest point on earth is 60 meters from sea level and highest is 8848.86, and that is just in between the distance of around 160 kilometers. Most of the countries are horizontal countries, but Nepal is like a vertical country. So whenever one tourist or a traveler visits from south to north, in every distance of 25 to 30 kilometers, he or she gets a chance to experience variety of the climate, culture, feasts, festivals, food, flora, fauna, so much of experiences that one can experience in a limited span of time. To understand the tourism and to invest in future, we need to understand the changing trends in tourism too. We all know that through the traditional and fixed itineraries, the tourism is changing towards customized packages. Sightseeing to sight-feeling activities are in offer. Advanced packers and backpackers are transforming into flash packers, those who curate their travel itineraries immediately. The voluminous guidebooks are gone, and now the app surfer and AI influence is much in the market. Established destinations to easy and exotic destinations that the travelers are looking for. And the comfort and luxury-based tourism is shifting towards the experiential economy. What are the areas that Nepal can offer for the why it is important to invest in Nepal? There are a few points I would like to highlight. As we all know that the government of Nepal and all the stakeholders, they have given top priority to develop tourism or to achieve the prosperity through tourism. The local community is very, very important for the investment, and our local communities are very supportive and friendly to tourism. All over the world, Nepal has a strong brand image. The policies are very supportive. Timing and environment is also very conducive. Weather-wise, I need not to say the very pleasant weather around the year that we have. And the potential for ROI is also there, because tourism industry is one of the industry where with less investment, one can get high return. Especially in the past few years and to the upcoming few years, probably gone are the days when we used to talk about the building destinations or building products. This is the time creating and curating products. So this is also very important for Nepal. Growing infrastructure is also one supporting thing for the investment in Nepal. Variety of experiences that the destination Nepal offers. Competitive advantage is there. And when we talk about the investing in mountain tourism, probably Nepal is the destination where there is no other alternatives around the world. There are supportive legal provisions also are there, be it acts or policies or rules and regulations, directives and working procedures, easy repatriation, single window service center, to the national treatment equal to the local investors are also a very important thing that one, while choosing as the investment destination, one think about, and these all are very, very friendly one. To talk about the potential areas of investment, I think so far we have been receiving mostly in hotel resorts categories, but Nepal needs more investment in unique accommodation like boutique, heritage, glamping type of things also. Adventure tourism infrastructure is also one of the area where we are looking for the new investment. Ecotourism projects, especially in post-COVID, most of the travelers, they are looking for nature-based destinations and isolation-based activities. So ecotourism projects are also very much viable and profitable projects. Cultural heritage preservation and promotion is also one of the area where we're looking for the investment. Transportation and connectivity, probably one of the biggest thing that hindering Nepal's tourism growth is our poor infrastructure, and this is the opportunity area also. MICE tourism infrastructure, we all know that Nepal, the location of Nepal is probably in the best in this region, with the half of the population of the world thriving in between the thriving economy of the world. Probably Nepal is located in the best location. From Kathmandu city, 4 of the capital cities can be accessed in 1-hour flight. Nearly, I think, from our bordering point, from south to east, nearly 300 million of population is there within the distance of 250 to 300 kilometers. That is probably the biggest market that we have. And sports and events activities, recreational tourism is also the area that we need big investment, because there is a big market around Nepal. And these days, transformative tourism is also trending. And for the transformative type of tourism, probably Nepal is the best location which offers variety of lifetime experiences. Need not to say about the benefits to the investors. Nepal is, because you know the immediate future is experiential tourism, and Nepal is the destination of that kind of experience that offers. So with less investment, more benefits, we can get it here. Eternal pride, a story to share if you connect with Nepal, because in Nepal, you know, even the conservation efforts can be historified, and then we can make a product. Like these days, the tripling the tiger population in Bardia, this story has itself become a product and bringing a very good number of visitors in areas like that. Long-term sustainability and resilience type of feel-good factor is also there to invest in Nepal and to diversify your investment portfolio, and pride of your investment is also Nepal adds. Obviously, there is benefit to Nepal also, as we are looking for the economic growth and job creation, foreign exchange earning that is there. That's why all the stakeholders have given top priority for the tourism sector. Just to give a glimpse, we have many international chain hotels recently in Nepal, Marriott to Sheraton, Hilton, Taj to Sintamani, which is one of the luxurious brand venture, the investment venture in Nepal. These are the few glimpses here. During this NIS 2024, IVN has showcased a few projects that if you are interested in, you can contact with the IVN Secretariat, where you can see from hospitality to hospital, from adventure to transportation, from MICE infrastructure to experiential economy. Variety of projects are there. Feel free to choose as per your interest. The ways forward, we all know that this is the time to adapt the situation, go with the changing trend, adapt the area of your choice, and accelerate the growth. Heaven is myth, Nepal is real. As the topic of this session itself suggests, Nepal is investing paradise, and the investment in paradise is never going to fail. So we are very, very happy to welcome you to choose a destination for your choice. Thank you very much.
We couldn't have set the tone any better. Thank you so much. That was our effort to set the tone for the rest of the deliberations from the person himself who has been at the reign for a long, long time now. And now, to help you gauge the investment climate in the sector, let me hand over the floor to the session moderator, Ms. Shrestha. We have the deliberation would last about 60 minutes, and most possibly, in the interest of time, we might not be able to take questions from the floor. Thank you, ma'am. Over to you.
Thank you, Shivani ji. Distinguished guests, international delegates, ladies and gentlemen, a very warm namaste and welcome to this session, Investing in Tourism Paradise. And I would like to thank Deepak sir for such a nice presentation. He has set the stage. And without any further delay, I would like to go into the session because we are very much under the time constraint. So, my first question, I'd like to start with Sumnima ji, who is working in developing a product that too is very immersive and experience-based. So Sumnima ji, would you like to talk, share more about the project you're working? Since it's in Lumbini, what significance does it hold, like the religious and the spiritual tourism hold for Nepal, and how do you get the foreign investors and development agencies roped in your project?
Thanks. Thanks, Shraddha, and namaste to everyone. Since we're in a room full of investors, I want to start off by saying that the project that I'm working on, which is to build a world-class museum in Lumbini, the birthplace of the Buddha, is not a business. There are no profits to be made here. Like most world-class museums all over the world, this is a non-profit, public-private partnership intended to increase tourism, to provide jobs, to uplift communities, and promote the heritage, promote the heritage of Lumbini. So our investors are mainly development agencies like ADB or JICA, USAID and philanthropists and corporates who are interested in helping Nepal or contributing to Lumbini in some way. Lumbini is, of course, one of the world's most important archaeological, historical, cultural sites. As the birthplace of the Buddha, it is akin to Jerusalem for Christians or Mecca for Muslims. For Buddhists, and there are 1 billion of them in this world, if you count all the Chinese Buddhists as well, there is no site that holds as much significance and profoundness. So even for non-Buddhists, though, even for people who don't really care about spirituality per se, the fact that the man who universally recognized as a symbol of peace was born here is a huge deal. An example a colleague of mine always gives is Giverny in France, where Claude Monet, the artist, was born. And the whole economy around that town is around this artist's birthplace. And, you know, from the minute you arrive at the train station, the airport, it's all about Claude Monet. And here we're talking about Lumbini, the birthplace of the Buddha, someone who influenced so many people over 1,500 years across the world. So, quite frankly, the potential is limitless. But the truth is, the problem is that even though some 1.5 million people arrive in Lumbini every year, according to government data, the majority are leaving in about 30 to 60 minutes. After a quick, they come across the border from India, after a quick tour of the Maya Devi temple, they leave with no sense of the significance of the site, what had happened here, the history, there's no storytelling, no interpretation given. And that is the role of a museum. I believe this is a huge lost opportunity. I always say we've squandered away what is one of our biggest soft power assets. So what Lumbini requires is a new imagination, a new vision, a total rebranding and repositioning exercise. And I'm honored to say that the Lumbini Museum is a central part of that. Once complete, this would be the world's first contemporary museum of Buddhism, or museum of the Buddha and his birthplace. What it will do is announce to the world that as a civilization, we have arrived as a country, that this is our identity. And we've seen this happening in many countries around the world, or many cities, from Doha to Dubai to Saudi Arabia. There's almost a competition of sorts where they're building, you know, the civil society is coming together with the government to build cultural institutions to show that they've arrived in a way. So the museum is kind of like that. It's great for tourism too. One example I always give is the Guggenheim in Bilbao, Spain, where tourism went up by 25,000% after they built the museum there, or Naoshima in Japan as well, which was just a garbage dumping site. And the whole trajectory of that town changed after the museum. A good museum starts off as an attraction, but it eventually becomes an anchor experience. In Lumbini's case, what it will do is it will allow then for meditation centers, yoga, wellness hotels. There's a lot being said right now about maternity hospitals. So not only, again, will this provide jobs, but also growth. This is a growth accelerator too. And to answer very quickly the last part of your question, how did I get development agencies interested? It wasn't too hard, to be honest, because all the development agencies see the potential of what an international standard museum can do for Lumbini in terms of tourism, but also Nepal's positioning on the world stage. The hard part actually has been in the implementation. That's largely due to domestic hurdles. The biggest problem I've found is in the mindset that we are stuck in the small things, building a fountain here, building a statue there, a building here. We need to start thinking outside of the box and start thinking big. And as I always say, if there's one place in Nepal where we should be aiming high, it is Lumbini.
Thank you. Thank you, Sumnimaji. 25,000% increase sounds really encouraging, and hope, you know, we see a lot of tourists in Lumbini once the project is completed. Talking about culture, tourism, and conservation, my next question to Mr. Michael Croft. Since UNESCO is closely working with Nepal government since a long time, preserving our inheritances, Michael, how do you see Nepal's culture and natural heritages being an asset, or let's say, a catalyst for sustainable development? And can you also share some of the projects you're doing with Nepal government and also some of the projects that are in pipeline?
Sure, thank you. I want to set my timer here. Anyway, you'll keep a good eye on me. A bit of a personal reflection. When I arrived in Nepal, really what I had known previously was just mountains. Nepal has mountains, so to speak. And I have to say that Kathmandu, we had a good impression as a good reputation as a nice place to bring a family. But it was pretty soon after I came here, I said to one of my colleagues, and it's like, why did I never hear about this place before? This place is amazing. And as sublime and beautiful as the natural heritage are and the mountains are, there's a lot more to Nepal than the mountains, I have to say. And this is really, talking about the Nepalis themselves, the Nepali culture. You have to understand that for us, when we look at Nepal, we don't see an LDC, we see a rich country. Nepal prioritizes the things that UNESCO prioritizes, values, highlights in its work are all over the place in this country. And by that, what I mean is, I'm not necessarily talking about particular sites, but it also has to do with the fact of the way that Nepali society is. The diversity is there, but the diversity plays out in a really joyful and very pleasant way. I remember the first time somebody told me that they were a Hindu Buddhist, and I thought, well, how is that possible? How can you be a Hindu Buddhist? But such things are possible here. What I mean to say by that is that that openness, that tolerance, that diversity also results in creativity. And the cultural and the creative industries here, for us, have such enormous potential. Because you don't have to upskill Nepalis in culture. Nepalis are already cultural experts. And one of the things that I would like to see one of these days or in the near future is that we talk about the cultural power, the potential of the cultural power of Nepal the same way that we do as the hydropower. Because for not just for me, but for UNESCO, this country really stands out in those terms. And if we talk a little bit about the programs or the collaboration with the government, it wouldn't surprise you to know that we have the usual, development interventions in and around the sites. And Nepal is blessed with 4 outstanding World Heritage sites. Sagamarta and Chitwan, the natural sites, and Kathmandu and Lumbini. Sunima has already talked about Lumbini, which are just outstanding cultural sites. But we went ahead with the designation of Kathmandu as a creative city, a UNESCO creative city last year. And why we wanted to do this was we wanted to give a platform for that other side of the richness of Nepal to be articulated and to come out. Because I think that it's something that's often overlooked, and certainly internationally it's not terribly well known. But if you're lucky enough to come here and live here for a few years, it's something that I think all of us expats agree upon, just after being here for a few months. And so the idea of the Creative City designation, again, was to offer, another platform in which this diversity and that creativity can be expressed. Because the reason, Nepal has a lot of cultural heritage because Nepal traditionally has been a creative country. Creativity results in the heritage, and heritage also results in creativity. So moving forward, as I said, even though we would have what you would expect in terms of the collaboration with the sites, with the government, a new initiative, and this time with the municipality, with Kathmandu Metropolitan City, this new designation, which we hope can be replicated in the country, which links Kathmandu to other international creative cities, to get that story out that other side of Nepal, which isn't so well known, but for us, which really represents the richness of this country.
Indeed, our cultural heritage and our diversity, and I think the acceptance of the Nepali people is a soft power we should really work on. And I think UNESCO and Nepal Tourism Board should really work together for narrating and taking the stories out in the world. So when we talk about product, I think there should be a means to take people to the product, right? And we have the aviation man right beside me. So my next question is to Vijay sir. So Himalayan Airlines is the perfect example of a joint venture, like a local and a foreign investment project. So sir, can you share some challenges you faced while working in the project, and also some opportunities that you foresee in this tourism industry?
Honorable Minister, the distinguished panel, and the distinguished audience. At the first place, I want to have some critical figures about the potential of Nepalese aviation. And if you look at historical trajectory between 1992, when private sector airline industry started in Nepal, and until now. And in 1992, we had international arrival of 100,000 arrivals from TIA. And the similar amount of departures from TIA. And if you look at the current figure, 2023, then we have last year 4.5 million tourist arrival traffic. That will include Nepalese and the tourist traffic both. So that's roughly slightly more than 22 times of the growth. And if you use the percentile, that's enormous kind of growth that we have been having over the last 3 decades. When we talk about the potential, there are a few things that we have to consider in mind. One is air traffic entitlements. And the air traffic entitlements emanates from the bilateral air service agreements between different countries, 2 countries or more countries. And the bilateral air service agreement, that has its link with the International Civil Aviation Organization, Chicago Convention 1944. It provides for international aviation law. It gives standards and the recommended practices, and it gives a set of rules unifying the international aviation in a global skill. And so through bilateral air service agreement, that give us traffic rights. There are different kinds of traffic rights according to ICAO framework, and the most relevant for us are freedom 3 and the freedom of air 3 and the freedom of air 4. That gives the right to the airline of any country to fly in passengers and fly out passengers from a second country, like between Nepal and India or Nepal and China. And so if you look at the bilateral air service agreements, Nepal has signed, as of most recent time, we signed an agreement with Switzerland. We have signed bilateral air service agreements with 42 countries. And then under the BASA, in short form, it gives traffic rights of 8 million passenger traffic either way. So that means in total 16 million tourist traffic, passenger traffic. And if you go to the recent, last year's data of traffic of passengers in and out of Nepal, it's slightly over 4.5 million passengers. So that means 25% of our capacity is being utilized, and the 75% is yet to be utilized. So that's the potential that we have of aviation in Nepal. And then total traffic 4.5 million in and out. And if you look at the market share of Nepal Airlines and Himalaya Airlines, it's around about 24%, slightly over 24%. And I want to recall, at one point in time in the history, not very old history, NAC and Royal Nepal, they used to command a market share of 55%. And today, Nepal Airlines and Himalaya Airlines, put together, combined market share is somewhere around 24%. That means, for an airline company in Nepal, either direct, investment company, FDI company, or local company, the potential, is abundant. So this is the, market scenario at the moment, and the potential of the aviation industry. Next, I want to, talk about, some key, factors that drive the FDI in, the aviation industry, particularly in the airline industry. One is, capital. Next is technology, management, manpower, and culture. I do not want to, go into elaborating, these key points. But, if you look at the challenges of, operating an airline, it's applicable for both, FDI company or non-FDI company. I mean, NAC and Himalaya both. The list of the problem is very long, and the density of the problem is very deep, and the scope of problem is very wide. And for promoting international travel, what's most important is airfare has to be as low as possible. If you go into the history of aviation globally, low fare travel, airline industry has revolutionized traveling all around the world. It's in all parts of the world, whether it's the most advanced and the largest aviation economy, that's the United States, and the smallest aviation economy, even in like Nepal. And for a practical example, I would like to share with you, if we have airfare between Kathmandu and Pokhara, when it's low, then tourist traffic into Pokhara gets higher. That's very common phenomenon. And then if you look at the cost of total travel per person, per capita spending of a traveler, and they bifurcate the cost of travel between international airfare and the local cost of hotel, local conveyances, and the local airfare. The proportion of international airfare is overpowering, is too high. And the international airfare, it's it is the critical hindrance for Nepalese tourism to grow. And for international air travel, airfare, why it's so expensive? There are few, critical input material costs, like fuel, aviation fuel. For Nepali Airlines, NAC and the Himalaya, in that matter, any prospective airline, airfare consists of 60% of direct operating cost. I have the recent data. Over last few months, the cost of an airfare per liter has gone up in Nepal from $725 per KL to $1,035 per kiloliter. And if you have a comparison of this price with the relevant airports like Doha, Dammam, Dubai, and Kuala Lumpur, Doha price is 0.6842 US dollar per liter, Dammam 0.6973, Dubai 0.7278, and Kuala Lumpur is 0.6520. That's make a relationship of 50% more expensive fuel price in Nepal. So that's one of the critical input costs that makes airfare, international airfare, more expensive. And then we have a lot more comparative disadvantages vis-a-vis foreign airlines. For example, in Nepal last year, under the budget promulgation, the government came up with a new VAT rule on import of aircraft. So this VAT rule was never in existence in the history of Nepal, as long as aircraft import is concerned. Suppose Nepal Airlines or Himalaya wants to import Airbus 320, whose market value is above 100 million US dollars. We have to pay 2 billion rupees Nepalese to the government of Nepal in terms of VAT before we import and use the aircraft. And then, for aviation fuel, which consists of 60% of our cost, the airlines, international airlines, not domestic airlines, we don't have entitlement to VAT refund on aviation fuel. Then, for a comparison purpose, in comparison with Dubai, Doha, or similar countries, remuneration tax in Nepal is 35%. We hire a lot more expensive manpower, because we have to draw manpower from all around competitive market. So we pay 39%. And making a comparison to that, Doha, all these places, they have zero remuneration tax policy. So then I think I have been asked by Shraddha to stop here. Thank you.
I'm sorry, but we will continue your remarks in another question. When the government has targeted to bring about 3.5 million tourists by 2032, I think you just said that we have only utilized 25% of the seat capacity we have. So there is a huge possibility of increasing the numbers, and this should be a and very encouraging factor for the investors to invest in aviation in our country. So coming to that, I would like to target my question to Ms. Srijana Rana, who has been in the accommodation hospitality industry from the last 30 years. So my question for you, ma'am, is what aspects of Nepal's tourism sector appeal to international visitors, and what potential do you see for investment opportunities in our sector?
Thank you, Shraddha. The projected revenue of the travel and tourism market in Nepal is estimated to reach US $458.60 million by 2024, with an expected annual growth rate of 7.15%. So this growth is expected to result in a projected market volume of US $604.40 million by 2028. So looking at this statistic, what one sees is there's a huge potential in tourism, knowing that it's a major contributor in the nation's economy. Tourism journey started when Sir Edmund Hillary and Tenzing Norgay Sherpa scaled the Mount Everest. Then during the 60s to the 70s was the hippie era, when Nepal was marketed, revealed to the world. Then we started concentrating on the Golden Triangle. So we concentrated very much on the, the Golden Triangle, that is the cultural tourism, then the mountain tourism, and a bit of wildlife tourism. When you look at the scale of the tourism arrival in Nepal from the 50s to till date, the scale has definitely gone up. Of course, there has been few hurdles during the blockade and the earthquake, which we bounced back immediately in a year time. Then, of course, the COVID was the major disaster for the tourism sector then. But then now we have already recovered 75% now. That is also very good news. So what happened was Nepal decided that we were going to do the Visit Nepal year 2020. And during that time, Nepal tourism realized that it was not just based on the Golden Triangle, but that we had much more to offer, our hidden gems from the east to the west. So that is when we decided that we would identify these products, and then when the tourists came to Nepal, they would go back with this lifetime experience. So now when you look at these golden gems, which has not been explored, the products are there, we need to develop. We realize that there are beautiful lakes like the Gokyo, the Rara, the Panchapokhari. Then of course, we have a very favorable weather that even I just visited Hili about a week back, and I realized a drive from Biratnagar, you get to feel the breeze and the cool, the temperature was like just so cool that you needed a sweater during this, time of the year. So can you imagine the domestic tourism to the, the border tourism, to many that would come to Nepal and experience this different weather in just 2.5 drive from the city. So then we also have flora and fauna. As you know that the Tinjuri and many parts of Nepal, we have the rhododendron. And then we also have the fruit, the vegetable, which is like really talked about these days, to the herbal medicine. Now the trekking routes, the hiking, the biking, So the new trekking routes that are being identified, the eco-sustainable tourism, meditation, yoga, well-being, which has already been talked about. And now these products, when we identify, if we could develop by the FTI that could come in, developing this, another possibility is fun park, casinos, and entertainment. Then, we have to accept the fact that Nepal is known for its warm hospitality service. And we also cater to the budgeted tourists. We have a potential for MICE tourism, wedding destination, and also the high-end tourism. Product identification is very important now to develop that into the global standard. That's where we talked about, we can talk about the homestay, the hotel, managed by professional chain, so that, the standardization and the marketing is there. So one can see there's a huge potential, keeping in mind that there are so many places in Nepal that is not even explored. So connectivity, we talked about, Vijayji just talked about the connectivity. Of course, we are very positive about the 2 international airports that has come in. And the government is working on the road connectivity. Of course, the challenge is from Kathmandu to, Narayan Ghat. But then when I went to the east and the west, I saw that after that, the road connectivity is brilliant. So if we finish that, that one belt in another year or two, I think driving to different parts of Nepal is going to be a huge possibility. Now, talking about the FTI, which is much needed, it will be highly beneficial for the investors in tourism and hospitality to develop. And we also have the 2 developed giant, India and China, on either side. So, and we have the visitors from the 2 countries. The number, if you look at it, is very, very large. So from this platform, as a panelist, I would like to say that FTI in Nepal in tourism, there's extremely huge potential. Build these hidden gems and go beyond marketing Nepal very traditionally, which we are still doing now. Come out of the box, and we have so much to offer. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rana. Indeed, like product diversification is the need of an hour, because we've been doing a traditional marketing, like going beyond the traditional Kathmandu, Pokhara, Lumbini, and the Annapurnas and the Everest. So Just want to share that NTV, Nepal Tourism Board, along with Ministry of Culture, Tourism and Civil Aviation and the province government with private sector, we are working on developing and marketing the 100 new destinations as been identified by the ministry. So hopefully we'll be able to bring new destinations to the table for the private sector to market. Now I would like to ask my question to Sir Graham Wrigley. Mr. Graham has been working in Nepal in the tourism, like sustainable tourism sector, with the communities in the Himalayan region. So, sir, what are the global opportunities in tourism that Nepal can tap in terms of community partnership and sustainable development?
Okay. Is that working? Yeah, okay. Thank you so much for inviting me here today. And please take anything I say with humility. Nepal's tourism journey is its own, guided by Nepal. I came to Nepal the first time in 1981, and I think of Nepal tourism and the offers that it has like think of a beautiful wall with hundreds of wild roses growing on it. And as you said, it's a glamorous history, from Tenzing and Hillary. In our country, glamour was given by Mick Jagger and Prince Charles then. And it went from the hippie era to now these amazing, the hotels, Annapurna, Dwarakas, now new brands of hotels, Gurga Khan, Aloft, and Shintimana. I think that in terms of the competitive advantage that Nepal has, and I'll come on to the sustainability thing, it's four things. The first one is this uniqueness, this tapestry of history. The range of destinations I won't add to. I'd say one today that is becoming really clear to me, it's a melting pot of the world. Nepal was more Dubai before Dubai. And as the world shrinks, because it is in tourism, coming to Nepal, you see Chinese, Indians, Westerners, and Nepalese, of course, in a way that you don't see anywhere else. I'd say the main competitive advantage, though, is the people of Nepal. The natural kindness, the service, the smile. If I was Minister of Tourism, I'd think about putting a license of $5 a day to see the smiles in Nepal. So in terms of how does Nepal develop, and to the questions that you asked me, we're working a lot in Kanchenjunga with the Kanchenjunga Conservation Area and a wonderful Nepali organization called Samudra Pahad, chaired by Prithvi Patel, board members here, answering Sherpa and others, an amazing team. And Kanchenjunga, the third highest mountain in the world, has 800 people a year go visiting it. Annapurna, 160. These are 2019 numbers. Everest, 60,000. And how does Nepal develop that opportunity to provide livelihoods for people without destroying the treasure that Kanchenjunga is? And it's hard. So I'll answer that question more on a macro basis from my observation of tourism around the world, and go back to that roses analogy. All these wild roses, after a while, you need to train roses. You need to prune some, and you need to keep the space for others to become prize roses. If you visit a ski resort in the West, there's high-end ones and low-end ones near to each other. If you go to a beach resort like Mallorca, there's one beach, but there's a high-end area where you're paying £2,000 a night, and others where you're paying $50 a night. And I think in Nepal, the segmentation is not clear enough. And I think that needs developing, and like everything's get developed. And when that's done, it will create an opportunity for pricing. Many people would say the great thing about Nepal, many Westerners were, to my great shame, will say it's great because it's cheap. That is not a competitive advantage. Value for money is a competitive advantage. Cheap is a disadvantage. It costs $1.50 a day to go round a trekking permit in Everest, a World Heritage Site. That is half the price of a cup of coffee in London. And I hear British, my countrymen, complaining about that. It's terrible. Masai Mara, $80 a day. Angkor Wat, $40 a day. But I also think, I wonder whether or not, and this is a question for the Nepal Tourist Board to think about, a strategic question. Nepal has $1 million a day at the moment. I know the 23 numbers are not out, but I know it fell from 48 to 20 and 21 to 22. It's hopefully to go up in terms of spend per day. But would Nepal rather, and it's a huge thing an opportunity for the country, massive employment factor, 6 World Bank study, 6 visitors, 1 job, foreign exchange. But would not Nepal rather go from 1 million tourists to 4 million, or go from 1 million to 2 million with the amount of spend per day going up 2x? So I think that's a strategic question. And I think that strategic question for the whole country is what we're trying to work on in Kanchenjunga and with Samad Bahad, to try and grow, to create the opportunities for the local community whilst preserving the beauty and the resource of Nepal. So, beautiful roses, just a bit of training, a bit of space for the prime roses to grow.
Thank you so much, Sir Graham, for your beautiful words. Indeed, you know, like nature, culture, adventure, and people are what we are advertising. Because, you know, when we did a survey back time, you know, Nepal always had repeated visitors. So yesterday we had a Korean program, and they said like 70% of the Korean are repeated visitors. So when we asked like, why you come again and again, then they said, first we come for the mountains, and second time we come for the people. So that was the, you know, the views we got. And of course, the value and the volume and the value market is what we've been debating always. So let's hope that we get volume with value in coming days. My next question is for Mr. Chaudhary. Rahulji, like CG is a very established brand in FMCG, and very recently CG has become an exponential growing hospitality name in Nepal and as well as internationally. So what attracted CG in this sector, and what are your future plans? And can you also add on to how CG is taking Nepal abroad and bringing the world to Nepal?
Thank you, Shraddha. First of all, I'd like to thank IBN for inviting me to this wonderful event. It's an honor and privilege. CG has been in the hospitality sector now for almost 25 years. And in these 25 years, we've managed to build a portfolio of over 180 hotels in 12 countries with over 10,000 keys. I'd like to answer, Shraddha, your question in 4 buckets, if I may. First of all, why the tourism and hospitality sector from a global perspective? All of you, I'm sure many of you are in the hospitality sector and know that 20% of the globally employed are employed in the service and tourism sector. Secondly, 20% of the global GDP comes from the tourism and service sector. So there itself you see the opportunity and why we ourselves are in that sector. Now turning to Nepal. Why Nepal? I think Deepak ji, Srijana ji, Sumnima, everyone stressed about why Nepal is the destination for us all to be, and I'm sure all of you are sitting here because you all are convinced as well that Nepal is the destination to be. But some points I'd like to add out there. One important factor is our location. Nepal is between 3 billion people, between China and India. That to me in itself is the biggest opportunity from tourism, from investment, from development, sustainability, everything. Everything emerges from that, and if we are able to get our act together there, everything else will follow. Secondly, I read an article, I think it was yesterday or day before, by Honorable Finance Minister, where he said that Nepal is working towards changing its perception from an LDC to getting out of that perception. But I choose to look at it from the perspective that Nepal is a frontier and emerging market. And it has huge scope from a first mover advantage, not only from tourism sector, but from various other sectors like agri, IT, hydro, infra, just a few to name them. And we had also almost reached 1.5 million tourists back in 2015 if it wasn't for the earthquake. And now, luckily, we are coming back to that cycle and we've already touched 1.2, so obviously we are in the right direction. From CG's investment perspective, we already have 8 hotels in operation and under development in Nepal, mostly with Taj through IHCL, Tatas. And through our foundation initiative as well, what we did is that we adopted 6 of these local rest houses along the Dolpo trek. Now we all know that Nepal is known for its trek, and Dolpo is one of those famous ones. And the idea here was to also bring alignment in terms of social impact, social entrepreneurship, and the angle of tourism. And this was done with the objective, because right now people don't have very clean and let's say quality establishments along these trekking routes, and I think there is huge potential to also take that up with times to come. Now, having said that, I think it's also apt to talk about a few areas where I think we do need to focus on. I think initiatives are being taken in the right direction. And if I may, Honorable Minister, just state a few. As Sir Wrigley mentioned, the biggest potential and the biggest asset that we have is our people. And everyone who comes to Asia talks about Asian hospitality, and especially to Nepal. And one challenge that we have at the moment is our youth that is leaving the country. That is a huge challenge, and we must take steps and initiatives to bring them back and give them opportunities to stay here. That's number one. Number two is also from the perspective of marketability, perception, and branding. I think we did take initiatives prior to COVID through the Visit Nepal, but due to the timing, I don't think. Due to the timing, it went very well. But I don't think they want to hear me, but. Okay. So I think the representation of Nepal has everything going for itself. But I think we need to put it out there so people know what Nepal really has, and the true gem, the true gems, the true offerings. Everyone in the panel has mentioned the same thing, but we need to get it out there. The message is very important. So I hope I've been able to cover all the questions you have answered, Shraddha.
Thank you, Rahulji. Thank you for taking Nepal to the world and bringing the world, and also for giving back to the communities. I actually wanted to go for another round of question, but Shivani ji has already shown me the time meter. So I would propose 2 questions from the audience rather than going with the panel. So we have 2 questions. So if anyone's interested, we can take 2 questions. No. Oh, I see some hands that side. If anybody, the volunteers, can you? कस्तो Request you to please keep your question very short and targeted.
Should I go? Yeah, hi, Shraddha, I'm here. Hi, my name is Pushkar. I'm the owner of Gorkha Gaon Resort, and the question is to Graham Wrigley, sir. You talked about segmentation of having sort of like a high-end and also low-end area. Can you elaborate a little bit more in terms of your experience in seeing such things and how government can take that process forward, Nepal government? Thank you.
Again, I think it is for Nepalese to answer that question in this country. But I think Nepal is doing a great job at segmenting by the different range of offerings, because I think, as we heard earlier on, people 10 years ago only knew about mountains. If I was to give one specific area in the area of development, I would talk about building controls and zoning. So it's to make sure that you have some areas where it's efficient, high-rise if needed, buildings, but in other areas, in heritage sites, it should be low volume, made with local style, and that should be enforced. I think in many countries in the world, not Nepal, but many areas, frontier markets where tourism goes, you end up with, when you're selling to the top end, people are buying space, as somebody said earlier on. They're buying isolation. And if you're going to get people to invest a big hotel, like we're hearing about now, they're only going to do that if the customers come and have space. And if round the corner people put up a concrete block with corrugated iron, that is a bad thing. But as I say, I think, in my opinion, it's down to Nepalese to answer that question.
Thank you. I think we should wrap the session and just, sorry. This will be the final question.
Do you envisage the involvement of the private sector in your interesting project, the museum, Buddha Museum? Yes.
Absolutely. I obviously mentioned the development agencies and corporates as well who have CSR funds. But, I've been on this project for a few years now, and I have yet to, at least locally in Nepal, meet anyone who said, oh, this is something that we really need to do and we need to support. Everyone recognizes the value of it, but I think the problem we've been having is it sometimes seems so huge, and what can one contribution do? But absolutely, we're looking for investments or sort of contributions. It's not always that a museum like this is built. If you look at New York or Paris, I mean, people are striving to get on the board of the big museums there. It only happened, most of these big museums were built 60, 70 years ago, even 80, 90, 100 years ago. And so this is a unique opportunity, actually, for people who are interested in Buddhism, in the arts, in culture, heritage, to get involved. And there are no amazing world-class museums in South Asia in general, actually. So there's no reason why we can't do this in Nepal. It could really set a new standard for how cultural heritage is managed here. And so, yes, absolutely.
So ladies and gentlemen, before I hand over the session to our chair, just a small wrap-up of the session. Today we try to delve into the issue and discuss, explore strategies to attract and encourage foreign investment in Nepal's tourism. We did talk about the need for new destinations, importance of infrastructure, stronger public-private partnership, the need for flexible government policies to facilitate easy business, ROIs, legal and financial obligations. So with this, I hand this session to our session chair, Honorable Minister, for his final comments.
नेपाल तेस्रो लगानी सम्मेलन 2024 मा यहाँ उपस्थित रहनुभएका आदरणीय प्रेजेन्टर, विज्ञ प्यानेलिस्ट, मोडरेटर र उपस्थित सम्पूर्ण अतिथि महानुभावहरू, मेरो नमस्कार अनि हार्दिक अभिवादन। यो आजको हाम्रो यो छलफल ज्यादै महत्त्वपूर्ण रह्यो र फलदायी रह्यो भन्ने मलाई अनुभूति भयो। नेपालको यो प्राकृतिक सुन्दरता, भौगोलिक विविधता सहितको विशेषता, सांस्कृतिक विविधता र हाम्रो नेपाली मौलिकता र अपार जैविक विविधता बारे हामी आफैले भन्दा पनि देश विदेशका पर्यटक र विशेषज्ञहरूले मुक्त कण्ठले प्रशंसा गरिराख्नु भएको छ। यो हाम्रो निमित्त महत्त्वपूर्ण अवसर हो, किनकि हामीले लाखौं र करोडौं डलर खर्च गरेर पनि आफ्नो मुलुकको सम्भावनाको बारेमा र यथार्थताको बारेमा प्रचार प्रसार गर्न सकिरहेका हुँदैनौँ। तर हाम्रा अतिथिहरूले, हाम्रा पर्यटक र विशेषज्ञहरूले हाम्रो पर्यटनको सम्भावनाको बारेमा यति धेरै कुरा गर्नु यो ज्यादै महत्त्वपूर्ण कुरा हो भन्ने लाग्छ। र हाम्रो अतुलनीय किसिमको पर्यटकीय आकर्षणहरू विश्वको सर्वोच्च शिखर पनि, सगरमाथा पनि हाम्रो यहीँ छ। विश्व शान्तिको अग्रदूत गौतम बुद्धको दर्शनको केन्द्र र गौतम बुद्धको पवित्र जन्मस्थल लुम्बिनी र पूर्वीय संस्कृतिको केन्द्र पशुपति जो हाम्रै नेपालमा छ, त्यसको लागि पनि अघि नै युनेस्कोको कन्ट्री डिरेक्टरले भन्नुभयो जस्तै यहाँ हाइड्रो पावर मात्र होइन, नेपालमा कल्चर पावर पनि छ भने जस्तै यी हाम्रा चाहिँ पर्यटकहरूको आकर्षणका पक्षहरू हुन् भन्ने कुरा पनि हामीले बुझ्न जरुरी छ र हाम्रा आदरणीय अतिथिहरूले आकर्षक पर्यटकीय गन्तव्यको रूपमा प्रशंसा र चर्चा जसरी गरिराख्नु भएको छ हाम्रो लागि यो ज्यादै महत्त्वपूर्ण कुरा हो। नेपाल पर्यटकीय गन्तव्यको रूपमा विश्वविख्यात ट्राभल म्यागजिन प्लेटफर्म BBC, CNN, नेशनल जियोग्राफी आदि जस्ता टिभी च्यानलहरूबाट पनि बेला मौकामा प्रसारण हुने रिपोर्टहरूबाट पनि यी कुराहरू उजागर भइरहेका छन्, हामी सबैलाई थाहा नै छ। र हाम्रा बजारहरू अमेरिका, युरोप साथै विकसित एसियाली देशहरू अघि नै यहाँ भनि नै सक्नु भएको छ कि हामी यस्तो सौभाग्यशाली नेपाली बन्न पाएका छौं जसको दुई छिमेकी मुलुकहरू झन्डै 3 अरब जनसङ्ख्या रहेका दुई छिमेकी मुलुकहरू विश्व अर्थतन्त्रको उदयमान शक्तिको रूपमा तीव्रतर ढङ्गले अगाडि पनि बढिरहेका छन्। यी मुलुकहरू पनि हाम्रो पर्यटन बजार पर्यटनको महत्त्वपूर्ण बजार हुन् भन्ने कुरा पनि हामीले बुझ्न जरुरी छ। र यस्तो सुनौलो अवसरको फाइदा लिन हाम्रा नीति योजना र कार्यक्रमहरू पनि हाम्रो आजको आवश्यकता लाई सम्बोधन गर्ने खालको हाम्रो लगानीकर्ता व्यवसायीहरूले जुन अपेक्षा राखिरहनु भएको छ सुरक्षा लगानीको सुरक्षा र त्यसको प्रतिफल प्राप्त हुन सक्छ कि सक्दैन भन्ने हिसाबले जसरी चिन्ता जाहेर गरिराख्नु भएको छ त्यसको लागि पनि हामी सरकारी स्तरबाट निजी क्षेत्रका सबै व्यवसायीहरूको सल्लाह सुझावको आधारमा हामीले ती पक्षहरूलाई सुनिश्चितता दिने हिसाबले सोच्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरा हामीलाई लागेकै छ र त्यही अनुरूप केही दिन अगाडि मात्रै नेपाल सरकारले पर्यटन क्षेत्रमा लगानीलाई आकर्षण गराउनको लागि या लगानीको निमित्त समस्या रहेका हाम्रा ऐनहरू जो विद्यमान थिए 9 वटा ऐनहरू त हामीले अस्ति मात्रै मन्त्री परिषदबाट निर्णय गरेर हामीले अध्यादेशको रूपमा ल्याइसकेका छौं। यो कुरा पनि हाम्रा निजी क्षेत्रका स्वदेशी एवं विदेशी लगानीकर्ताहरूको निमित्त यो जानकारी दिनुपर्छ भन्ने मलाई लागेर मैले यी कुराहरू पनि राख्न आवश्यक ठानी। र मूल कुरा विश्व बजारबाट 20औं र 30औं लाख पर्यटकहरूलाई आकर्षण गर्ने आवत जावत गर्न सहज बनाउने र स्तरीय व्यवस्थापन गर्ने विषय पनि आजको आवश्यकता हो, जसको बारेमा यहाँ हाम्रो राहुलजीले पनि कुरा गर्नुभयो, हाम्रो सृजनाजीले पनि कुरा गर्नुभयो। हामीले पनि महसुस गरिरहेका छौं हामीले छोटो दूरीका र थोरै खर्चले पर्यटकहरूलाई कसरी खपत गराउने भन्ने हिसाबले नै सोच्न जरुरी छ भने अर्कोतिर के हो भने अलि आरामदायी खालका अलि लग्जरी टाइपका हामीले पर्यटकहरूलाई हामीले कसरी व्यवस्थापन गर्ने भन्ने बारेमा हाम्रा होटलहरू अहिले जुन स्तरका चाहिँ बनिरहेका छन् त्यो स्तरले मात्रै पुग्दैन कि हामीले त्यो भन्दा उच्च स्तरका लग्जरी डिलक्स अरू स्टारको हिसाबले अरू थप स्टारका होटलहरू बनाउने र त्यसमा पनि लगानी गर्नतिर चाहिँ हामी निजी क्षेत्रका स्वदेशी एवं विदेशी लगानीकर्ताहरूलाई हामी अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छौँ र त्यसको निमित्त आवश्यक पर्ने राज्यको तर्फबाट सहजीकरण गर्ने कुरामा हामी सदैव तत्पर छौँ भन्ने कुरा पनि म यहाँहरूलाई आग्रह गर्न चाहन्छु र पर्यटकीय गन्तव्यहरूको विकास गर्नुपर्ने र सोही स्तरको आवश्यक पूर्वाधारको निर्माण गर्नुपर्ने पनि स्पष्ट छ। त्यसकारण यस्ता पूर्वाधार निर्माण गर्न पनि ठुलो मात्रामा पुँजी लगानी चाहिन्छ। हामीलाई अहिले चाहेको यो पुँजी लगानीकै कुरा हो र जसको बारेमा मैले भनि नै हालेँ। त्यसबाहेक हामीलाई आधुनिक प्रविधि, आधुनिक ज्ञान र सिपको पनि जरुरी छ। जुन कुरा अहिले भर्खरै एकजना अतिथिले भन्नुभएको त हामी थोरै लागतमा धेरै मूल्य पर्ने वस्तुको उत्पादन गर्न कसरी सक्छौँ? सायद नेपालको विकासको निमित्त सबैभन्दा बाधक कुरा चाहिँ यही हो भन्ने लाग्छ। किनकि हामीले उत्पादनमा आधुनिकीकरण चाहे जुनसुकै क्षेत्रको होस्, यो कृषिको मात्रै कुरा होइन, यो पर्यटनमा पनि चाहिँ लागू हुन्छ र अन्य क्षेत्रमा पनि लागू हुन्छ भन्ने लाग्छ। र हामीले आधुनिक प्रविधि र ज्ञानलाई, आधुनिक सिपलाई नेपालमा भित्र्याउने, यो लगानी भित्र्याउने मात्रै होइन, हामीले ज्ञान, सिप र प्रविधिलाई पनि हामीले भित्र्याउने र हामीले थोरै लगानीमा धेरै उत्पादन गर्ने हिसाबले सोच्नुपर्छ भन्ने कुरा पनि राज्यले सोच्ने कुरा हो। यहाँहरूले त्यही अनुसार हामीलाई झकझगाउने काम गर्नुभएको छ। नेपालको पर्यटन उद्योगमा विशाल सम्भावना छ। थप पुँजी लगानीको आवश्यकता यो हामीले दोहोऱ्याइरहनु पर्ने कुरा होइन र निजी क्षेत्र र सरकार बीच विश्वास सिर्जना गर्नुपर्ने अवस्था पनि अहिलेको हो। नेपालमा तपाईँ हामी सबैलाई थाहा छ, राजनीतिक अस्थिरता र नीतिगत सुधारका समस्याहरू जुन देखिएको छ, यो राजनीतिक स्थिरता एक प्रकारले हल हुँदै गएको छ भन्ने हामीलाई अनुभूति भइरहेको छ। किनभने विगतमा जसरी चाहिँ राजनीतिक क्षेत्रमा अस्थिरता देखिने गर्थ्यो, अहिले यो मैले भनिरहने कुरा भन्दा पनि यहाँहरूले आफैले देखिराख्नु भएको छ, अनुभूति गरिराख्नु भएको छ भन्ने लाग्छ। र त्यसो भइसकेपछि हामीले सरकारसँग आशंका गर्नुपर्ने, सरकारसँग अथवा लगानी गर्न डराइराख्नुपर्ने अवस्था अहिले होइन र नेपालको अर्थनीति उदारवादी अर्थनीति नै हो भन्ने कुरा पनि हामीमा प्रष्ट छ। हामी निजी सार्वजनिक साझेदारी, यो पीपीपी मोडेलको आर्थिक नीतिमा यो धेरै वर्ष पहिलादेखि प्रवेश गरेको कुरा पनि हामीलाई जानकारी नै छ र यतिले मात्र नहुन सक्छ। फेरि पनि यहाँहरूको राय सल्लाह लिएर थप हामीले नीतिगत हिसाबले केही परिमार्जन गर्नुपर्ने यदि स्थिति छ भने त्यसमा पनि हामी थप परिमार्जन गर्न पनि हामी तयार छौँ। निजी क्षेत्रसँग सहकार्य गरेर नीतिगत सुधार गर्ने, वैदेशिक लगानी आकर्षित गर्ने, स्थानीय एवं प्रदेश सरकारहरूसँगको सहकार्यलाई मजबुत बनाउने र सरकारवाला निकायहरूसँग समन्वय गरेर अगाडि बढ्ने, यसरी हामी मुलुकको आजको आवश्यकतालाई सम्बोधन गर्ने किसिमले नीतिगत, व्यवहारिक र योजना एवं कार्यक्रमिक हिसाबले पनि हामी सम्पूर्ण रूपले तयार भएर अगाडि बढिरहेका छौँ। अन्तमा नेपालको पर्यटन क्षेत्रमा लगानीको अवसरका सन्दर्भमा यहाँहरूबाट व्यक्त चासो एवं जिज्ञासाहरूको लागि हार्दिक धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु। फेरि पनि मन्त्रालयको श्रीमान सचिवज्यू, प्रेजेन्टर, बीके प्यानेलिस्ट, मोडरेटर, उपस्थित सम्पूर्ण अतिथि महानुभावहरू र मेरो टिमका सदस्यहरू र मातहतका अन्य कर्मचारी साथीहरूलाई पनि हार्दिक धन्यवाद दिन चाहन्छु। नमस्कार।
Dhanyavad, Maniniya Mantriju. Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. With this, we have come to the end of this session to investing in Nepal. And I would like to thank my chair, my presenter, and all the members and the panelists for their views. And also a big thank you to the audience for your participation and engagement. Have a good day. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. I'd like to request all our distinguished dignitaries to kindly be seated for a moment. Also to the members in the audience, we have a very important formality that wouldn't take long. So we'd request all of you to stay a little longer and bear with us. Thank you for the great attendance that you have shown and the enthusiasm and the spirit you bring along. We've come to know that not many in the members of the audience have been able to avail the facility of the headsets which avails you the translation services. So this is a note and information to all of you. If you need translation from Nepali to English or from Chinese or any other languages, we do have those services. Kindly make sure that you find the headpieces in the other sessions as well. And in view of that inconvenience, allow me just a couple of minutes to give a summary of what the Honorable Minister just said, as he extended greetings to the members in the audience, especially the international delegates. He said that the deliberations that were held in this panel, he deemed it very important and productive, and that the diversity of all sorts that Nepal has, including cultural, natural, and then Nepal being the hub for religious spiritualism as well, makes it comes as a great boon and advantage for Nepal to stand as a global tourism hub. The Honorable Minister said the love, attention, coverage that Nepal has received the Global Cross at frequently and at major junctures has been quite praiseworthy. However, for nations like us, it's pretty ambitious in terms of affordability to promote our potential to the world stage, and therefore this assemblage of potential investors and the people who love Nepal is of utmost importance for us and also helps us gain a lot of mileage. He said that the Nepal government stands committed to today towards incorporating suggestions and expert advice from stakeholders and is ever effortful towards amending the apparatuses and infrastructures, especially those related to policy and law. And that he also took the forum to inform the international investors that Nepal has already, through an ordinance, made advances to lay policy and legal grounds for investment and for the promising returns as well. He also shared that Nepal government very much understands the many other prerequisites, including the much talked about skill, knowledge, technology, and the other soft skills that the esteemed panelists talked about, and is also effortful in garnering support and suggestions and expertise from all stakeholders to create, to lay that ground. And he also said that private sector and government trust and cooperation is of utmost importance, and Nepal as a liberal economy favors the PPP model and is forever effortful at the moment to fostering coordination between government tiers and government agencies to create a very favorable investment climate in the tourism sector, which has so much potential in the country. So that was it from the Honorable Minister. We very much thank him for all those assurances, commitments, and for standing tall at this very important forum. And said that, ladies and gentlemen, we also thank all our distinguished members in the panel. You've been there, you've nailed it, and then you're still continuing to look forward and upscale the sector with all the resources and apparatuses and knowledge you have. And as organizers, we feel really proud to have had this opportunity to bring all the achievers in this forum. So as we come to the closing of this panel, apologies that we have some constraints to deal with. Trust me, it's about space herein, so we are very much thankful to all the distinguished dignitaries for bearing with this. But in the tourism sector, don't worry, we have ample space and ample prospects. So to the final formality to extending the appreciation to all of you for your invaluable time, may I request all our distinguished dignitaries to kindly step down and take the floor in front of the stage. We'd have loved to do it up on stage, but then I'm sure that would hinder the mobility. माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई पनि एकैछिनको लागि तल पाल्नु हुन अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु र यो कन्क्लुजन सँगसँगै हामी एउटा MOU साइनिङ विटनेस गर्दैछौँ त्यसको लागि अडियन्समा रहनुभएका सम्पूर्ण महानुभावहरूलाई पनि एकछिन हामीसँग रहिदिनु हुन अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छौँ. So it's with much honor, pride and gratitude that I request the IBN CEO also to take center stage. Mr. Sushil Bhatta. Sir, yes. As we present our token of appreciation and gratitude first to the session chair, Honorable Minister Hit Bahadur Tamang. माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई अगाडि आइदिनु हुन विनम्र अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु. यहाँको अमूल्य समय, यहाँका यी महत्त्वपूर्ण भावहरू, सकारात्मक भावहरू जुन आजको यो महत्त्वपूर्ण फोरममा राखिदिनु भएको छ त्यसको लागि सधन्यवाद. यो स्मृति चिनो हामी प्रस्तुत गर्दैछौँ. To the session presenter now, Mr. Deepak Raj Joshi, Director General CNI, former CEO Nepal Tourism Board. उहाँलाई म अगाडि आइदिनु अनुरोध गर्दछु. सेसन चेयर माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई अब आयोजकको तर्फबाट, नेपाल सरकारको तर्फबाट हाम्रा प्यानलिस्टज्यूहरूलाई यो स्मृति चिनो प्रस्तुत गरिदिनु हुन अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु. Presenting a token of appreciation to our presenter, Director General CNI, Mr. Deepak Raj Joshi. Thank you so much for the invaluable inputs that you added to this forum. To the session moderator, manager NTV, Ms. Shraddha Shrestha, we present you this appreciation with a lot of gratitude. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for tailoring this so well. And it's a privilege, in fact, to be presenting this token of appreciation to our distinguished panelists. First and foremost, may I have the pleasure of inviting former CEO BII, Sir Graham Wrigley. To Sir Graham Wrigley, thank you so much for all the invaluable experiences and expertise and perceptions that you bring along. Mr. Rahul Chaudhary, Managing Director and CEO, CG Corp Global and CG Hospitality Holdings. Extending immense gratitude to Mr. Chaudhary for the value that he adds to this forum. Ms. Sumnima Udas, Founder, Executive Director at Lumbini Museum and former international correspondent, CNN International. Indeed proud to have her in the panel. Thank you for the value that you bring along. To Mr. Michael Croft, representative of UNESCO to Nepal. With utmost gratitude, we make a presentation of this appreciation for the invaluable time and the perspectives and expertise and experience that you brought along. To Mr. Vijay Shrestha, Vice President, Himalaya Airlines. Thank you for adding that extra perspective, upscaling the entire deliberation at this forum. Thank you, sir. And Ms. Srijana Rana, President NICCI Nikkei and former President of the Hotel Association of Nepal. Ms. Srijana Rana, this is extending utmost appreciation and gratitude for the value and that you bring along. Thank you so much. May I one more time invite all the panelists for a quick group photograph. माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई एकैछिन यहाँ अगाडि नै बसिदिनु हुन अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु. May I invite all the panelists one more time for a quick group photo opportunity. Our sincere apologies for the space constraint, please. Ma'am, if you could come in. Shraddha ma'am, please join us. आदरणीय महानुभावहरू, यहाँ अहिले यो फोटोग्राफ हुँदै गर्दाखेरि यहाँलाई जानकारी दिउँ। अब हाम्रो एउटा MOU साइनिङको कार्यक्रम रहेको छ। Ladies and gentlemen, we wish to take this opportune assemblage of distinguished personalities to sign an MOU. We started off at the inaugural ceremony, and this is going to continue until the final formality of the day. And as I said earlier, yesterday at the inaugural, that the summit is just the beginning for us. We are looking forward to an eventful year and a lot many MOUs to be signed. So the MOU that we're going to sign is on Rara Luxury Resort, and this will be signed in the gracious presence of the Honorable Minister, Mr. Hit Bahadur Tamang. May I invite the Honorable Minister to kindly take on stage. Thank you, distinguished dignitaries. माननीय मन्त्रीज्यूलाई म स्टेजमा आमन्त्रण गर्न चाहन्छु। उहाँको समुपस्थितिमा हामी यो MOU मा हस्ताक्षरको कार्यक्रम गर्दैछौँ। त्यस्तै संस्कृति मन्त्रालयका सचिवज्यू डाक्टर दीपक काफ्लेज्यूलाई पनि म मञ्चमा पाल्नु भई आसन ग्रहणको लागि विनम्र अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु। Ladies and gentlemen, the name of the project for which an MOU will be signed is Rara Luxury Resort, and spread across 3,700 square meters, having 60 rooms and to be constructed in two phases. This will be the first luxury hotels in the Karnali province in Nepal. And this will be a joint venture between Australia Expert Group and Nepal's Rara Holdings. May I have the pleasure of inviting the signatories now from the expert group. We have Mr. Badri Aryal and Mr. Sanjeev Sharma. May I have this privilege of inviting you up on stage, please? And from Rara Holdings will be represented by Mr. Abhishek Vikram Shah. So if you could take a seat towards the very edges. Mr. Shah, yes, that's where you will be seated, right? No, yeah. So may I request the volunteers to kindly bring forth the dossier to be signed? Yes, please. So as I said earlier, Rara Luxury Resort is a joint venture, ladies and gentlemen, for between Australia's Expert Group and Rara Holdings of Nepal. It will be the first luxury hotel in the Karnali province, which will be spread across 3,700 square meters. This project, or this resort, will have 60 rooms and will be constructed in 2 phases. And the estimated cost is around 1.5 billion rupees. So may I request the volunteers to kindly pass on the dossier to the other side. Please bring it forth. So the initials put, may I invite the signatories to kindly descend down the stage. Owing to the space constraint, may I invite all of you to descend down the stage, and in the gracious presence of the Honorable Minister, Mr. Hit Bahadur Tamang, along with the Secretary at the very Ministry, Dr. Deepak Kafle, we will now witness. Sir, हजुरहरु त्यही माथि नै बसिदिनु होला. हजुर 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 स्पेसले गर्दा फेरि अलिकति अप्ठ्यारो हुन्छ. हजुरको यो उपस्थितिमा हामी यो एक्सचेन्ज यहाँ अब्जर्भ गर्दैछौँ. Ladies and gentlemen, a round of applause. This is a great start and something that we all will be looking forward to. Another reason for us to visit Karnali. And we're so proud to have been showcasing the signing of this MOU amidst a panel which just discussed about the prospects and possibilities. So we take it as a great sign. Many congratulations to Expert Group Australia and Rara Holdings Nepal. Thank you so much to the Honorable Minister and the Honorable Secretary. Many congratulations to you too. You might as well want to take a picture down there. Yeah, हजुरलाई तल प्रस्ताल्नु हुन अनुरोध गर्न चाहन्छु. Thank you so much to all of you for being a part of this very, very important and a milestone, moment of this summit. Thank you so much. So I think we've already run into the lunch break. So lunch is being served outside as the usual venue. If you would love to savor yourself to some delicious food, please proceed towards the lunch area. We shall see the commencement of the next session at 14:30. So you have, I think, about 30 minutes to get back to the halls of your choice. Thank you so much for being great audience. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen,